Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier of the Free State, the Honourable Members of the Executive Council, Members of the Legislature, Executive Mayors, Mayors, Speakers and Councillors, House of Traditional Leaders, the DG, all senior managers and HODs, NPOs in the House and the civil society, leaders from the African National Congress and all political parties, leaders from the labor movement, Setjhaba sa Freistata, ladies and gentlemen, dumelang, bomme le bontate. Honourable Speaker, we humble ourselves as we present Budget Vote 7 speech for 2024-25 financial year, 6 days after the commemoration of the Women's Day. On the 9th of August 1956, more than 20,000 women of all races marched to Union Building to protest the introduction of apartheid pass laws for black women and the presentation to the then Prime Minister J.G. Straton. As the Department of Social Development, we dedicate our 2024-25 budget vote to the women who played an important role in the liberation of black people in general and Africans in particular, whilst their main focus were women who were confronted by triple oppression then. We salute and honor our stalwarts, Mama Lillian Goy, Helen Joseph, Rahima Musa, Sophia Williams, Betha Kowa, Ivy Matsipe Kasaburi, Mutalepule Chabaku, Beatrice Mashoff, Ouma Zopo, Jeanette Pereko, Elisa Lande, Kimi Lusabe, and many more other women not mentioned in my speech. Honourable Speaker, as we commemorate the role played by the heroines of our liberation struggle and celebrate the 68th anniversary of 1956 March and the 30 years progress made by the African National Congress on the emancipation of women, we are pained and our tears cannot dry because of the increasing numbers of gender-based violence and femicide in our society and in our province in particular, specifically in Lezweli-Putswa and Mangaung. Women are brutally killed in their homes by individuals who are expected to protect them. In the recent past, we experienced the brutal killings of Mphomo Alusi, Tato Tumahole, Fikile Nyila, Disebo Musupa, and others who are victims of gender-based violence and femicide. During the second quarter of 2024-25 financial year, we received reports that 2 women were killed by their partners who drove their cars on top of their bodies. Such incidents should be a lesson that there are men and boys who have anger issues, because there is no normal person who drives a car on top of a human being more than once, and we say the person is normal. We need to focus on men and boys without neglecting women and girls when we implement programs of gender-based violence and femicide. We need to partner with NPOs focusing on men and boys like your Bua Munna, your Munna Khota, your Not In My Name, your Men's Forum, and many other NPOs focusing on men and boys. Because most of the time we focus on victims and leave perpetrators. During the next quarter of 2024-25 financial year, the department will introduce and implement a program that we call Molo Makelwane campaign. The campaign is aimed to unite communities and families, intensify moral regeneration programs and social cohesion. We need to engage our communities to know their neighbors. In the morning when they wake up, if they don't see their neighbors, they must make efforts to know whether their neighbors are okay or not. Communities must be encouraged to know people who stay in their streets so that they easily identify abusers and criminals. Molo Makelwane will be led by Masupatsila pioneers whilst they do the house profiling work. We will work with ward councillors, ward committees, community development workers, CPFs in the 319 wards in the Free State Province. This Molo Makelwane program will enable us to identify elderly people who stay alone in their homes, identify families which are in distress, people who are troubled by substance abuse, child-headed households, people with disabilities who need assistance from the department. We have already engaged the Premier on our proposal for the establishment of Premier's Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Coordinating Committee that will be chaired by the Honourable Premier. The role of the Premier's Coordinating Committee on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide will be to monitor the implementation of the 6 priorities of the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide and coordinate reporting on gender-based violence and femicide by all departments and stakeholders. We will submit our proposals on the terms of reference for the committee. Honourable Speaker, allow us to present the 2024-25 financial year budget, vote 7 to the legislature. For the 24-25 financial year, the final allocation to the department amounts to 1.3 billion, which is an increase of 8% against the second adjusted allocation of 1.2 billion for the 2023-24 financial year. The department managed to spend 99% of the budget of the previous financial year, and as the department, we have allocated our budget as follows. On Program 1, which is administration, this program provides administrative support to core business chief directorates and institutionalize good governance through sound business processes and practices in support of effective service delivery. The staff complement of the Department of Social Development is at 1,968 employees. Compensation allocation is at 862 million and translates to 66% of equitable share. As we are a people-driven department, the percentage of compensation expenditure is consistent with other provincial departments of social development. We are pleased that through the dedicated and committed employees, the department has maintained an unqualified audit opinion for 3 consecutive years. For the past financial year, there were no material findings identified. The efforts of the department directed at improving the outcomes were noted by AGSA. However, more work needs to be done to ensure that we achieve the desired outcomes. We need to ensure that we strengthen our good governance efforts and achieve a clean audit report. The department is confronted by a high rate of vacancies. There are many employees on acting positions. We will advertise the funded posts so that we create stability in the department. In a State of the Province address, the Honourable Premier committed to roll out a skills audit program in the province. During 2024-25 financial year, the department will undertake the process of skills audit as part of the provincial initiative to implement the public service skills audit methodology framework and ensure right horses for the right courses. During the previous financial year, the department commenced internal consultations to develop a draft organizational structure because the organizational structure of the department was last approved in 2013. In 2024-25, we will endeavor to finalize the purpose-built organizational structure that will take into consideration our budget allocation through the MTEF. On diversity management, Honourable Speaker, the Department of Social Development remains a lead department in terms of diversity management and has the highest female SMS representation. Female representativity on senior management level comprise of 65% of women. Persons with disability representation is at 5.3%, which is above the national norm of 2%. As the department, we have previously committed to appoint social work graduates who were beneficiaries of government bursary program and were appointed on contract as COVID-19 contract workers. We are proud to report that the department appointed 83 social workers on permanent capacity as from the 1st of June 2024. These appointments increased the number of social workers in the department to 495 social workers excluding 38 social work graduates who are serving graduate internship. With this number of social workers, the province is well on track to comply with the norms and standards for social workers, especially in rural areas. The department will continue in recruiting social service professionals to strengthen its capacity. Honourable Speaker, the department will embark on a headcount, as other departments has already indicated, to ensure that all employees on the department payroll are entitled to payment. This will eliminate ghost workers and ensure gainful employment of public servants, because we cannot afford to pay salaries to people who are not reporting for work. The department will put systems in place to finalize labor disputes timeously. We will strengthen the performance management system of the department so as to reward good performance and apply consequence management where failure to meet targets set by the department. There will be no reason not to meet targets when resources are available. The total budget for Program 1 is 329,435,000. Program 2, Social Services Welfare. Honourable Speaker, the Older Persons Act 13 of 2006 is intended to protect, promote, and maintain the status, rights, well-being, and security of older persons. It is an act that aims at combating the abuse of older persons. The amended act gives us a responsibility to ensure that old persons are provided with quality services and are afforded the necessary protection by society, including community-based organizations. An increase of elderly abuse has been observed in our communities, and to mitigate this scourge, the department will undertake different preventative programs while incorporating the Mono Makelwane program to strengthen protection of vulnerable older persons, conflict management, and promote family values. Elderly people deserve to stay in their homes without being forced to stay at old age homes. We call upon our communities to look after elderly people at their neighborhoods, because if we create a culture of taking care of elderly people, we will also be taken care of when we are aging, because one day we are also going to be older people. Honourable Speaker, ka Sontaha sena se fitileng re batla ho leboha Brigadier Motsielwa ka ho re tsebisa ka nkgono a mo fitileng tseleng ka Labohlano a ya mo yang teng. Ha khutla ka Sontaha nkgono ka ntsa le tseleng a tsamaya, ha ba emisa ba mo botsa hona o ya kae, o ne a le 10 kilometers from Tlokolene, 10:04 ya le Khalo la Mantsopa. Are o ya Clarence a re tsebisa ka taba eo, hommeng ga isa di social worker le maponesa nkgono ga monka ga mo beya sebakeng se lokolohileng. Re a leboha hore tseleng moo ha ka ba kopana le bahlekefetsi ba ileng ba mo beta kapa ba mo etsa ho hong. Ke ka hona re ipiletsang hore ha re hlokomele maqheku letsatsi le leng re tla be re le maqheku le go. The department has partnered with 188 NPOs to provide community-based support, social services, and residential care services to older persons. A total amount of 58 million is allocated for this purpose in the current financial year. The Free State Province has government-owned elderly people homes in Botshabelo, Tabanshu, and Qwaqwa. The reason why we don't want to create more is because we want neighbors to take care of elderly people so that they stay in their homes. It's comfortable to stay in your home more than going to a home somewhere. So that's why we want to promote neighborhood and also looking after each other. We will maximize the government-owned homes for the elderly people to ensure that if there are elderly people who need to be accommodated, they find space. We will have to upgrade these facilities to ensure compliance with the norms and standards, because we cannot close NPOs which are not compliant when we are not compliant ourselves. We will engage Treasury to consider the increase of our infrastructure budget because most of the time non-compliance is as a result of infrastructure deficiencies. We will collaborate with Public Works for them to provide the technical services they have. The department continues to drive the active aging golden games for elders with the estimated total budget of 3.4 million for both provincial and national games. The success of these games or events strongly relies on the partnership with the Office of the Premier, the Department of Health, and the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. Services to people with disabilities, Honourable Speaker, on the 2nd of May 2023, the National Assembly approved that Section 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, be amended to include South African Sign Language as an official language to promote the rights of persons who are deaf and hard hearing. It is for this reason that the department, in partnership with our stakeholders, we will popularize sign language during the Disability Rights Awareness Month in November 2024. The department will also appoint a sign language interpreter on a full-time basis. The department will continue to fund 24 protective workshops with an allocated budget of 3.4 million. These protective workshops are meant to equip persons with disabilities with skills to become economically active and provide them with social support services. We will continue to protect the rights of persons with disabilities from any form of abuse because their rights are enshrined in the Constitution. We will partner with the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation on programs that are meant to promote talent amongst people with disabilities. The budget provided is 263,920,000. Speaker, the department remains the custodian of the Children's Act. We are mandated to provide prevention, early intervention, and statutory services to vulnerable children in communities, as well as child and youth care services. Child abuse, neglect, and exploitation are deeply concerning problems that require collective action to protect our children. Ndate Mandela once said, I quote, "Our children are the rock on which our future will be built, our greatest asset as a nation. They will be the leaders of our country, the creators of a national wealth, those who care and protect our people," close quote. Remember, addressing child abuse requires a multifaceted approach involving education, awareness, and collaboration across sectors, including funded NPOs. A budget of 150,958,000 has been allocated for services to children, which includes adoptions, services to children living and working on the streets, drop-in centers, child and youth care centers, and overall integrated social work services that are legislated. But we want to call upon fathers who have neglected their children, and their children are in the street. They must go and adopt those children because ke bana ba bona ba. Ha ona ngwana a lefatsheng a sena ntate. So bontate le ha be le nyetse le ba entse strateng, go kopa le ba late because ke bana ba lona. The department spends a significant amount on statutory services. It is crucial. Baba isa ona mo wa dulang teng. Hono le monate ba itsuwa, so baba isa ona mo. The department spends a significant amount of statutory services. It is crucial that we strengthen prevention and early intervention services. Hence, we partnered with Sithabelo Family Care Services to implement the RESISHA program, which basically aims to build resilient communities, especially children. We took notice of the parliamentary question recently directed to the Minister of Social Development regarding placement of social workers in schools. We would like to reaffirm our support to the Department of Education in the provision of psychosocial support services when children are referred to the Department of Social Development by educators and by any community member, because it is difficult to place social workers employed by the Department of Social Development in all schools due to financial constraints facing the department. However, the Department of Education does employ social workers at schools, but statutory responsibilities are different from the ones employed by the social development due to their area of speciality. The department has 2 child and youth care centers for children in need of care and protection, namely the Leeto in Kwakwa and Sireletsong in Bloemfontein. In this financial year, 44 daycare centers for children with disabilities will be funded to the tune of 10.8 million. We will also increase the unit cost for children with disabilities in residential care facilities to 5,400 per child, and for children in child and youth care centers to 5,200 per child. The budget for this program is 333,808,000. On restorative services, today we are confronted with a crisis that threatens the social and moral fiber of our communities, families, and thus causing a strain on social services. Substance abuse is a scourge that knows no bounds, affecting individuals from all walks of life and perpetuating cycles of addiction, violence, poverty, and despair. To intensify the fight against alcohol and drug abuse in the province, 33 NPOs are funded to the value of 8.4 million to ensure that people receive information through awareness program and get access to treatment for substance use disorder and aftercare services. In addition, 28.7 million is availed for operations at Charlotte Matlake Treatment Center in Botshabelo to provide treatment to people who cannot afford private rehabilitation centers, and 10 million for operations of Dr. Bayes Nodier Halfway House in Clarence. On crime prevention, Honourable Speaker, there is an urgent need to intensify interventions and innovative mechanisms to address the rising social ills. In this regard, for 2024-25, 9 organizations are funded, NPOs, at an amount of 3.4 million. In strengthening the program of crime prevention, we will implement awareness programs at schools and in our secure care centers in partnership with departments of sports, arts, culture and recreation, health, basic education and community safety, roads and transport, amongst others. The department will also create a conducive environment for professional nurses in our secure care centers by providing adequate and appropriate tools of trade. The department will also undertake the integration of social crime awareness campaigns with institutions of higher learning to enhance our reach to students. The department will collaborate with stakeholders such as SAPS, Department of Basic Education and local municipalities in the implementation of the integrated social crime prevention strategy in Harib. We will strengthen security and skills development at our secure care centers, because we want to make sure that those beneficiaries, if they go out of those centers, they are able to take care of themselves. On victim empowerment, the department continues to support NPOs which provides shelter to victims of gender-based violence and femicide. The department, amongst other strategies, will continue to strengthen and improve the capacity of all gender-based violence shelters. In 2023-24, the department established a shelter in Harib and a safe house in Botshabelo. 1.6 million has been allocated under equitable share for 6 gender-based violence and femicide shelters and 1 safe house in the current financial year, in order to avoid second victimization by perpetrators. The security system at the shelter in Bethlehem, Tshepo ya Rona, will be upgraded. We have budgeted 702 million has been budgeted for this purpose. An amount of 7.8 million has been allocated to 35 community-based victim support organizations. Restorative services program dealing with victim empowerment has been allocated an amount of 3.2 million for 7 organizations dealing with violence against women and children. Our commitment is clear. We will not rest until every woman and a girl can live free from fear, from violence, and free from being victimized and getting their full potential. On HIV and AIDS interventions, in 2024-25 financial year, the department plans to commemorate the International Men's Day through the Men Championing Change program in November 2024 as a way of sensitizing men to the fact that their input for the prevention of HIV and AIDS and gender-based violence is needed. The department will continue to mitigate the impact of HIV and AIDS in the communities by rendering prevention as well as care and support programs. An amount of 15 million will be allocated to 29 NPOs during the current financial year. The department will strengthen and intensify partnerships with stakeholders such as USAID through the government-to-government program in Lejwe-Leputswa and Thabo Mofokeng districts. This project is aimed to ensure heightened implementation of the social and behavior change programs. The budget for Program 4 is 225 million. On development and research, Honourable Speaker, in order to break the cycle of poverty and build sustainable livelihoods, the 21.5 million budget will be spent on enhancing support and directing more resources towards developmental services. We will reprioritize an amount of 10 million to community nutrition development centers so that we capacitate the beneficiaries with necessary skills for them not to remain beneficiaries at CNDCs for life. We'll employ services of professional service providers to provide gateway skills to CNDCs and their beneficiaries. A clear exit strategy will be developed. We will partner with a stakeholder to realize the developmental goals of CNDCs, which include your Meals on Wheels, your NDA, and many others. The goal is to empower communities by supporting women and youth initiatives through the sustenance and establishment of partnerships with non-profit organizations and cooperatives. We are pleased to report that to further enhance our efforts following the launch of the Provincial Food and Clothing Bank in Hamilton in Bloemfontein in partnership with Red Cross, the department will focus on the establishment of district food and clothing banks in partnership with relevant provincial departments and NPOs. This strategic approach to enhance our ability to address emerging challenges and ensure that effective real-time support reaches those that are supposed to be assisted and those that are in distress. We will incorporate non-perishable food and clothing donations in our Molo Makelwane door-to-door campaign to request our communities to donate to our food and clothing banks, because there is a lot of communities who have excess clothes who can donate to food and clothing banks. We will also request the public servants and members of the legislature to voluntarily donate, because you have it today, you don't know tomorrow. We will popularize our food and clothing banks so that communities know where they are, so that when they want to donate, they just go straight there and give their donations. On the reduction of malnutrition, I'm sure the Department of Health has reported on the problem of malnutrition. Honourable Speaker, hunger and malnutrition among children and women in the country in general, and in the Free State in particular, remains a significant public social issue influenced by factors such as poverty, inadequate food security, and high rates of infectious diseases. Despite the economic progress that we are making, disparities in wealth and access to resources persist, contributing to high levels of malnutrition. In addressing malnutrition, the department will closely collaborate with the Department of Health, Education, as well as Agriculture and Rural Development to align our processes and coordinate the implementation of programs and services aimed at improving food and nutrition security in households and communities experiencing severe hardships. We will focus on children, elderly people, pregnant mothers, people living with HIV and AIDS, TB, as well as families severely affected by food insecurity. The Department of Social Development has a role to play when patients are released from hospital to home, because the Department of Health does not provide nutrition to patients that are at home. They do that at hospital. Now, when they're at home, is the responsibility of social development. We'll intervene through the provision of healthy supplements and nutrition to households. Working together with our partners, we'll prioritize our budget to reduce malnutrition. Honourable Speaker, we are proud to announce our partnership with the South African Social Security Agency, which is SASSA, and the National Development Agency on a Generating Better Livelihood pilot project in Lizweliputswa, Cyprus, and Harib Oppermansgronde. The initiative is currently focusing on child support beneficiaries, aiming to link them with relevant stakeholders for additional economic opportunities, subsequently enhancing their social protection and livelihoods. It is our intention as the department to roll out the program to other districts in the next financial year. On poverty and unemployment, Honourable Speaker, addressing the persistent challenges of poverty, especially with high unemployment rates, remains a significant focus for our department. We are committed to supporting the 51 currently funded community nutrition development centers to provide nutritious food and developmental programs, acknowledging the reality that too many households live below the poverty line. The conditions of some CNDCs in the province leaves much to be desired in terms of their structure, management, and quality of services. We will continue with our efforts to address these challenges with a special focus on developmental aspects that are meant to serve as an exit strategy from these centers, as I mentioned earlier on. In partnership with our sister agencies, NDA and SASSA, provincial departments such as Agriculture, DSTEA, NPOs, cooperatives, and private sector. Honourable Speaker, the department, in collaboration with the National Department of Social Development, partners such as NDA will continue support the NPOs funded by the department. The department currently funds 487 NPOs at 305,152,000. These are NPOs which have signed an MOU with the department. During the current financial year, we will advertise to call for proposals for funding NPOs which are at areas where social ills which are not sufficiently covered by the currently funded NPOs. The call for proposals will also consider transformation of the funded NPOs landscape. The department will strengthen our NPO monitoring to ensure support and compliance of the NPOs, as it remains our responsibility to ensure that they get necessary support to ensure that they continue providing the much needed services to our Free State communities, because NPOs are a strategic partner of the department. We will continue to facilitate registration of provincial NPOs and provide the necessary support to ensure that they retain their registration status where possible. Through a partnership with a transformed, improved social sector, we can target and address the social ills that are crippling the province, paying particular attention to those areas that are affected. Honourable Speaker, as the department, we had to deal with a drastic reduction of EPWP incentive grant allocation. As undesirable as it is, it was to be expected following the migration of ECD programs and the associated work opportunities to the Department of Basic Education. In this financial year, we will use the incentive grant of 3.1 million to create work opportunities, supplementing it with our equitable share. The budget for the program is 152,965,000. SASSA plays a critical role in providing safety nets for people who live below breadline. In the Free State, 53% of the population, which is 1.5 million people, are dependent on the grants. The total amount of social grants paid in the Free State amounts to 1.2 billion per month, inclusive of social relief of distress. This totals to 4.7 billion per annum. Speaker, it has come to our attention that among different grants, many beneficiaries were not adequately informed about the grant in aid. During the first quarter of 24-25 financial year, SASSA Free State issued only 1% grant in aid. Honourable Premier and myself, working with SASSA and all other stakeholders, we undertook an outreach program in Tabong in Velcom to raise awareness to eligible on this important intervention. Communities were given an opportunity to make applications for the grant in aid. We will roll out the program to all towns in the Free State. We will ensure that every stakeholder relevant to the application is present, including doctors which are supposed to examine applicants, so that our people are not taken back and forth in order for them to access grants and pensions provided by government. In Harib, SASSA is spending 43 million, in Mangaung 306, Lejolipuza 251, Thabo Mfutsanyana 295, First Lady Abi 196 million. Honourable Speaker, our role is to serve our people. We must always be available to serve. The department serves the most vulnerable communities who need our services 24 hours. The department will strengthen its communication and accessibility to establish a call center which will be available to communities who need help from the department for 24 hours. The modalities of the call center will be announced in due course. Honourable Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to thank and appreciate the support of the Honourable Premier, Ausma Queen Letsua Matai, and wish her well in her tenure as the Premier of the province and the leader of the Executive Council, Musadi Uswarati Pakabhali. I want to heartily thank my colleagues in the executive, members of the legislature led by Honourable Speaker Mkolisi Dukwana. Let us appreciate with gratitude the work and support of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Health and Social Services and the Provincial Public Accounts Committee. I wish to thank the HOD, the acting HOD, Menel Siwentombela, the former HOD, Advocate Patlo, and the entire management of the office. Most importantly, a special thank to my family and friends for their continued support at all times. Thanks very much, my boys. I'm a mother of boys. Sipo, Thabo, Papa, and Junior. And thank very much to Zanele, my cousin's daughter who stays with me, who always gives Bible studies to us at home. She's such an inspiration to our souls. Ayabulela madlo. Ati makube khos, makube hele. Kamagu, makudedu bumnyama, kuvelukai. Thank you very much to the African National Congress, which gave me an opportunity to stand here and present the budget vote and lead the people of the Free State. Honourable Speaker, we present the budget of 1.3 billion to you for consideration. Engos.
Thank you, Honourable Leeto. Honourable members, that is the budget vote, that is budget vote 7 of social development as presented by the Honourable Leeto. This then opens our debates on that vote. I will then recognize the Honourable Ketso Makume.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, or Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier, the Chair of Chairs, the Deputy Chair of Chairs, my colleagues in ESCO, my colleagues in the legislature, and our guests from the gallery. As we are also continuing to celebrate Women's Month, I learned that also today is the birthday ya Meshope, Ketri Chope. She's getting 99 years. She's one of the women who led the struggle against women inequalities and the GBV and just the exploitation of men by the society in general. So join me to wish her birthday. The word social is from the Latin word socias, which means association or compassion. So once you debate the social development issues, we must always give a context of what is it that we are talking about. So we are talking about a companionship and association of individuals in the society. How each and every one links to the other, and how each and every behavior have an impact or effect on the other person. So that is why we are going to support the budget presented, because it has those links in between. You will remember that the department used to be called the Department of Welfare. The reason why it was changed, it is because it was doing the following negative impacts. It was not allowing the association of cadres and activists who are involved in developing the society. Because with welfare, you only have people who are just going to receive and who are not taking an active part in the social development of the society. So the reason why it was changed in 2000, July, it was because it was then encouraging each and every member of the society to be involved in the social development. You will also remember that the history of our country, it is based on the disposition of our people's land and assets. Therefore, social ills faced by our people, such as poverty, unemployment, and inequality, in the history of our society is a creation of apartheid colonialism, and by men and women who were benefiting from that system. So it was not a natural cause. It was not something that has just happened. It was caused by men and women. So for us to fight social ills, we also need men and women who are committed to do exactly what the budget has been proposing. The ANC and government must continue with its research based on planning to inform its intervention towards executing the departmental constitutional mandates. It is important that for every intervention that we are going to do moving forward now, we need a depth research, because you can't resolve social issues and social ills without the research. We have to have the research. So we are happy and content that MEC has also raised the issue of the research that is going to assist the department to reach the interventions, particularly towards executing their constitutional mandate. The social development is about improving the well-being of every individual in society so they can reach their full potential. The success of society is linked to the well-being of each and every citizen. Social development means investing in our people. More of the challenges of the society are of the results of the economic systems. The society divided into different classes is bound to have social ills. Social ills linked with economic problems various from societies. Amongst others, families become victims and divided, children always get abused, women are being killed, and people living with disabilities also become victims, are being excluded in the economic sector of the society. Therefore, the responsibility of our government, or in particular the Department of Social Development, is therefore to protect the vulnerable groups mentioned above through various programs mentioned by MEC Leeto. Social ills are man-made and can only be rectified in a very radical manner by men and women who do care about building a society that care and knowing that care is the highest form of love. Former President Nelson Mandela once said, in line with what I've already said, I quote, "Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural, it's man-made and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings." Honorable Speaker and the House at large, social institutions created under the ANC-led government were created to ensure that there has to be a conscious intervention to help the poor. We do so because under the apartheid system, millions of our people were denied every day basic necessities such as education, food, jobs, water, shelter that gave birth to unemployment, poverty, and inequalities. Let me repeat again, care is the highest form of love. Communities-based services, social services, residential care services to older persons must be supported by all because we are all going to be older persons one day. God's will, obviously. We will definitely need such kind of care. We also need to discourage the fly-by-night centers because they steal away from those who really need the services. We're also not immune to living with disabilities. Anything can happen to every human being, caused by many things. Natural disasters, diseases, accidents may also lead us being disabled. We therefore need to support all initiatives and support efforts to seek to assist the people living with disabilities. We are pleased that the department will empower the people living with disability to participate in the economic development and in line with the inclusive economic growth. We are duty-bound to ensure that people living with disabilities are empowered and not excluded. Nothing without them about them. Children are the future leaders, future parents of the society. How we grow and treat them is very much important. From when they are born in their classroom and when they play during culture and sports activities, when they do all these other various life activities, we must always bear in mind of the fact that we are preparing future generations. Therefore, we can't continue to abuse young children. We are agreeing with the MEC that we need a collective action to prevent our children from social ills and protect them from copying the wrongs in the society. It is for that reason that we support the MEC. One of the greatest challenges to the future is the substance abuse. This challenge is, if it's not confronted by all of us, our society is doomed and we are in trouble. Consequences of substance abuse for the young people are so immense and they steal away the future. The same goes to GBV against women and children. We need to stand up and support the department in the fight against femicide. Men and boys, they must be the first to advance against GBV and the last to retreat. I want to repeat this. Men and boys, they must be the first to advance against GBV and femicide and be the last to retreat. The time comes where the poor will have nothing to eat but the rich. This was said by Jacques Rousseau, one revolutionary franchise. In so saying, the cost of living is also very high. Therefore, we are supporting you, MEC, by ensuring that we push the malnutrition program that we have initiated. This will help us to mitigate factors of the feminine that we are seeing now of late, and the poverty, inequality, and unemployment. In conclusion, we support this budget for only one reason. It is about bringing a better life for all our people. Thanks very much.
Thank you, the Honourable Getso Makume. Honourable members, in light of the two apologies that were recorded prior, I shall now allow the Honourable Ntabiseng Gaurekwi to take the podium. Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable Member of Legislature, House of Traditional Leaders, officials of government present here, and all guests invited. Good morning. Honourable Deputy Speaker, it is a great honor to stand in this respected House and contribute to the budget speech for the Department of Social Development, which serves as both an accounting tool for the work they have done and what they will deliver in the immediate future. The department was tasked with the responsibility to respond to the daily social challenges affecting our society, most vulnerable and poor. Their challenges compel us to deepen our effort in pursuit of creating an inclusive and caring society. And so to us, this is not a mere routine exercise, but it's a critical moment where we must review our social contract of giving effect to a developmental state where there's transform, reconfigure, reimage, redress to give effect to our creed of building and caring society. Honourable Deputy Speaker, as champions of social development, the government led by ANC is committed through delivering on our mandate to the realization of the goals set in the National Development Plan and the clarion call of not leaving no one behind. As we gather in this August House to pronounce on the service delivery outlook, we also take this opportunity to reflect on the progress that has been made by the department and its partner over the years. I'm pleased to announce to the people of Free State that the department is on track in terms of achieving the target that were set out at the beginning of the sixth administration as per the objectives and target on different priorities and outlined by MEC for social development, Honourable Leeto. On governance, we applaud the department for achieving unqualified audit opinion for 3 consecutive financial years. Through promoting employee engagement, we are confident that the Department of Social Development has the capacity and caliber of employees to deliver clean audit outcomes in the near future. We must ensure that capital optimization is introduced to build workforce that is resilient and human-centered. On diversity management, we applaud the effort and achievement of the department in ensuring a clear exit strategy for our social workers, bursaries holders through the department appointment and internship programs. This is a radical step to increase our services to the people. Honourable Deputy Speaker, social workers' responsibilities are noble and it's an essential professional that plays a vital role in the betterment of society, particularly in South Africa, where complex social challenges abound. Social workers are dedicated professionals who work diligently to improve the lives of individuals, families, and communities facing various adversities. We applaud the department. On services to older persons, in recognizing the plight of older persons in the province, partnerships with the Older Person Forum and clubs must be strengthened, giving them an effective voice in decisions that directly affect them. Furthermore, the department needs to promote solidarity among generations and intergeneration partnerships, passing of the positive values, promoting moral regeneration, keeping in mind the needs of older and young ones and encourage mutual responsive relations between generations. The departmental achievement were placed on record to this House by the MEC, and it is clear that the department is on course to achieve their objectives in this regard. We also see positive contribution of the department funding Lanchon Club in different districts. Among others are Mufulatepe Lanchon Club in Smithfield, and then it's Vukuzenzele Lanchon Club in Betuli, Harasi Bay Lanchon Club in Ittenberg, and many others.
Honourable Kharekwe, will you take your seat? Honourable Dipuku, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Speaker. A point of order, fellow. The members, just before they come to the chamber, Baskaba party all night. It makes it difficult for us to hear what they say. Thank you very much.
Please sit down, Honourable Dipuku. You may continue, Honourable Kharekwe may continue.
Thank you so
Order,
much.
honourable members. Honourable members, order. May we allow the speaker to continue with the debate?
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Kharekwe, may you take your seat?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, ke kopa o khalmele Honorable Meko askanare Honorable Dipuku sele.
You may leave, Honourable. I've recognized you. Honourable Kharekwe, you may continue.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy
Honorable
Speaker.
Speaker,
Honourable Kharekwe.
Honorable Speaker, we are harassed in front of you, Honorable Speaker, but you are quiet.
Who's harassing you,
Honorable
Honourable?
Leeto,
How has she harassed
she's
you?
always repeating resele why resatsamile flight.
Oh,
Is that your business,
Honourable member. Honourable
Is that
member,
your
let's follow the
business?
debate.
Wa re tella, Honorable member.
Honourable member,
Wa re tella.
order,
Don't see us.
order. Honourable
We are not
member,
here for you.
honourable members, sit down. Honourable members, this is not the language we use in Parliament, and I'm going to request honourable members to always, at all times, abide and comply to the rules and orders that we have adopted in this House. I'm not going to remind honourable members of parliamentary language that is allowed in this House. Honourable Leeto.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I think we should have called Honorable Dipuku to order when he says members must not party before they come to the legislature. Honorable Ntabiseng, that's her voice. That's an abuse.
Thank you, Honourable Leeto. I'm going to allow that. Honourable Dipuku, we all know in this House, it's not the first time we've heard the Honourable member speak, and we know this is her voice. And in Women's Month, let's try to avoid sounding almost discriminatory. Let me allow the Honourable member Ntabiseng Kharekwe to continue.
Honorable Speaker,
On the Honourable member from the EFF.
today you don't know my name. Honorable member from the EFF, please, Honorable Speaker, try to protect all of us as a ruling person in this House. Because when
And how am I doing that, Honourable member? There's certain language that I'm not going to allow in this House. And honourable members, I repeat, you know the rules and orders book, and you will comply and abide to the rules. There's a certain language that we are not going to allow. Honourable Manje.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. I stand on an order and a request from your table
What is the
for
order?
Honourable Dipuku to withdraw what he said to Honourable Ntabiseng. He has to
Honourable,
withdraw.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Dipoku, we have, no, Honourable Member.
Honorable Speaker,
Thank you. Honourable Dipoku, there's an order that is being raised on the voice of Honourable Khaurekwe, which I have already alluded to, that it is no means of parting or whatever you try to imply, but this is the voice of the Honourable Member. Hence, I mentioned that you are sounding almost discriminating. Can you then withdraw from your previous comment?
Honorable Speaker,
How got speaker? I think they must also withdraw. However, withdraw. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member.
Honorable Speaker.
Honourable members, on this one, I'm glad that you did withdraw. Honourable members, we are all, or not all, but we are in Women's Month and we are women and we are raising an injustice against another woman in this August House. I'm not taking an order. I'm allowing now the Honourable
Speaker.
Khaurekwe to continue.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Honourable Chabalala.
Thank you very much. I'm Honorable Chabalala, yes. Honorable Speaker. Le nna ke ntse ke bua ke re ka meka kama A1. Ska kama ba bang ka e hlabanya tshepe ba bangwa ba kama ka ya plastic. Ha re tlotla bolellwa in this parliament hore re latele Floyd. What is that? Re kopa motho a hule mantswe ha so that we can do. Yes. If apology itlamea ibe teng ka hara ntlo ka ha re apare kaofela. Let her withdraw also.
Honourable Member, who made that statement? The statement of who made that statement, Honourable Member?
Honourable Leeto Matabo.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Leeto Matabo, may you withdraw the statement?
Honorable Deputy Speaker, it is not a secret that at 12 o'clock we're getting...
That's none of your business.
No, Honourable Member.
Floyd will be resigning.
Honourable members.
It was an advice just to say, please follow.
Honourable Matabo, will you withdraw that statement? No, Honourable members. Honourable Matabo, will you withdraw?
Honorable Speaker, with due respect, I will withdraw.
Thank you. No, thank you, Honourable Matabo. And with that, I will then allow the Honourable Member to continue with her debate.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker, Deputy Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, Honourable Dipoku, o tla tlwaela. Kgetlo le fetileng, inele for the first time, today is the second time. And the very same person, Ansana le bothata. But
Honourable Member, can you not respond and continue?
Honourable
No,
now you are
Honourable Member, Honourable Member, there is one speaker in this house and it's myself. And I'm addressing the member. Thank you very much. You may continue, Honourable Khaurekwe, and do not respond to the Honourable Member.
No, thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. That's my voice. It's like that. On service to the children, as we are just from the month where we celebrate Tata Mandela, we recall vividly well this passionate love for children when he said, and I quote, "Education of our children must be one of the most urgent priorities." We all know that education, more than anything else, improves our chances of building better lives. Close quote. Therefore, efforts of the department in ensuring that no child is left behind in terms of provision, child grant has a serious...
Your time is up, Honourable Member. Thank you. I will now recognize the Honorable Klute.
Honourable